It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
If you would like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website or head over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coins and other geocaching items during the year. Support levels start as low as the Bison Tube level, which is only $3 a month.
Well, welcome. Big thanks to Derek.
Thank you.
Who's with us tonight? The Baker Six Clan. Thank you, Derek.
Yep, you're welcome. What are you thanking me for?
You'll find out later. Don't worry about it.
For all of it.
Okay. All right.
I think for now I'm going to thank you for the opening.
Oh, okay. Got it. You're welcome.
Our featured patrons, the Twonky, Burnt Turtles, Gazelli, Acme Wildcachers, P0001, ADK Sarah, Eastern Girls, Billy Robson, Fox and the Hound, TX Wolf Totem, and our new patrons, TKD Scouter. Wonder who that guy is. There he is.
Guy?
Look, he's got his coin too.
Got his coin.
Yay!
It's official.
Tax Pro RGV. Dana, send me your GC name if you would like to share that. Kazoo Otters. Thank you so much for our new patrons, and let's jump right into show 245 as we discuss to archive or not to archive. That is the question. With Tony Salgado. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. We've got. I think it's going to be a fascinating show. Good morning. Yes, good morning to you, Darren. It's kind of starting to become midday for Darren, I think, on Monday. So glad to see Monday has arrived. So we'll talk about all the archiving and how we got to this point soon. But we're going to start with a little news. So a couple items tonight that we want to talk about. Something that we're fleshing out as a network, but I wanted to kind of let people start to think about it if they're interested. We are going to be hiring. Not really the term.
You can say hiring, maybe, yeah.
Hiring. Well, we're going to be bringing on to the team a social media manager, and we'll get the details. Once the details are finalized, we'll put it up on the website. But hopefully that's perking some ears out there of people that might be interested. But our team of podcasters, they're all busy doing things, preparing for the shows, etc. And Jesse and I are not the greatest at social media. Would you say that's
on the scale of greatest to worst? We may not even jump on that scale. So, yes. Well, and it's more than just for that, right? And we're not going to get into the whole thing tonight, but as we're going to talk about something, we want to be able to do some things, giveaways and fun games, stuff like that. But it's beyond the capability of us, but we don't want to miss out the opportunity to do some fun things like that. So we want somebody that has those skills so we don't totally botch it, right? Plus, Gary wants his face everywhere. So we got to do that too. Because Gary's really insecure and really shy, and we're trying to get him out there to meet some people. No, not that social media. We're not doing that one.
No.
Geocaching Tinder is not going to be on the list. But
I think
we do have a lot of other stuff we want to do and have fun with. So
yeah,
I might be able to pay you in Pizza Ninja, but
I don't know. That can be pretty.
It could be expensive.
Paying people in pizza.
Yeah, depends on how many times you get delivered.
He's not the right person for that because he'll just eat us out of house and home, out of podcast and home, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we're going to, and we've kind of mostly finalized everything. We're going to kind of put the final touches on it, and we will let people know more.
But we've got this other thing we've got to do first.
There's a lot of other things first.
We're going to meet a few people.
Yep.
It's coming up in how many days?
4 days? 3 days?
The week starts in 4 days. You can't really, I guess you can't say that the actual event is in 4 days. It's not till it's a week from yesterday, but
yeah.
I mean, really, we're already in the Mingo mindset right now. So if you really want to be honest about it, anybody is lucky enough to go this year, you're already in the Mingo mindset at this point.
Yeah. How far along have you packed?
Come on now. You know me better than that. I'll pack Tuesday night. So
I know.
And I'll leave Wednesday.
I've been packing for 3 weeks. That's
wow.
That's the way I I got a lot of extra stuff. I've got all the stuff for our table. We got new table items for that. Yep, Albedo, thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Pack up all the swag, Ryan. You need
right. All of it.
You need an 18-wheeler to bring all that swag.
He's been packing up swag for a year. So
yeah, he has been. Yeah,
more than a year.
Packing it.
More than a year.
More than a year. Yeah, I leave. I'll be there Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Everything sort of, I guess, really starts Thursday as the first real event, which is down at Little Jerusalem. Tony, you'd like this. There are how many Earth caches are down at Little Jerusalem, Jesse? 8?
We did 9, 8 at Little Jerusalem, and then 1 at the other nearby new location.
It's like an Earth cache power trail.
It is kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, Kate's helping, I think, with the maze packing. Mm-hmm. Maze has to get packed up and sent up. The GPS maze only been back.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas was the last time. Mm-hmm. It was 2 years ago that one came about. So,
but think about all the people that have joined. They say like 5 million people joined the game during COVID. Mm-hmm. None of those have the maze.
Not yet. Unless they're in Europe. That's a possibility.
That's true. You're right. Has it been? Have they had the maze since COVID started in Europe, though?
Probably not.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat room knows. I know, but
right. But
I don't know.
That's the other potential place you could have gotten it, but
potentially, yeah.
Not very much last year because all the events were pretty much on hold.
As we're talking about Mingo too, we might as well mention labs because in case people like those, there's a couple to do there.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody.
So
thank you to everyone who pitched in and helped us out because let me pull it up. There's a lot. While I'm pulling that up, let me talk about one other item. We are needing, and this is not coming from here. I'll show it real quick. That are the labs that are around Colby.
Wow, kind of square.
I'm showing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and one in the middle. It's about to go live. 13. The one in the middle and one on the left-hand side both have 10 in them.
Holy cow.
So you're looking at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 65, 75. Right?
What's others?
You've got 10, right?
Mine has 10. Yeah.
And then the main one has got 10.
Let's just say there's at least 100. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And then look around the map and you'll see what you find.
Yeah, there's more coming. So that you're exactly right.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That's some
crazy.
geo art and some other new stuff in town. And the icon hunters will be happy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There are.
So,
a lot of planning.
Also, and we got some other stuff too, but also everybody that gets to go we're all super jazzed about it, but we're also very aware that some people can't go this year because that little flu that was going around. Yep. So there's borders shut and everything else. We're going to do our best job. We're not a TV production studio, but we're going to do our best job to broadcast everything we can so that people that aren't there can view it on YouTube or wherever, any of the places you view this podcast. We're going to use that same platform to broadcast as much of Mingo as humanly possible. Yeah. It's free, right? Just like the Mega's free. It's free too. All you got to do is sign up, make sure it's going to come on, and we're going to broadcast every single thing we can because we understand some people can't travel. So,
very true. I did want to mention that Mingo Madness has experienced some financial issues that we've been told about. So we're having some financial things that have come up. Part of it is shipping of swag and some other things, etc. So what we are doing is something that's been done at Texas Challenge and some other places. We're having a silent auction. So if you have an item that you would like to donate for that silent auction, or if you'd like to purchase or bid, I should say, on a silent auction item, please do so. All the money will go to paying off the debt of Mingo Madness. So please help us out. And that would be very we're going to do tickets. Sorry, Ryan's correcting me. Tickets. Same kind of thing.
Yeah. An auction. Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. However it's done, same way. Bring an item that you think would be worthy of that you'd like to donate, or plunk down a few dollars and help us out to get out of the red. So thank you so much for everyone who will be doing that at Mingo Madness. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It should be a blast for everybody there or able to watch. So
yes. I needed to clarify something from last week, Jesse. We talked about instant notifications, and I have been I don't use them. So this is probably A, that I'm old. B, I don't use them. I mean, I use one.
You were thinking about the old system is what you were doing.
I was thinking of the old system. So just to clarify, and thanks to Nels for pointing this out.
Yeah.
You can set up multiple notifications. So you can leave your notification at home. Let's leave your notification at your mansion, Jesse, down in Florida. You can leave that notification. You can leave your Cabo one that you tend to go and travel to periodically. But you can also set up an additional one around Colby. So that is good news. And I think this is interesting. We never figured out. I asked Nels about this, and it's like, maybe somebody in the chat room or listening on the audio might be able to answer this question, but I don't know if we figured out if there's a maximum number of notifications, because I couldn't find an answer to it, but I figured it's more than you would ever need. So yeah. Jeff may know this, or somebody else might know it. I figured Jeff's really up on stuff like that.
Jeff's good, and he did point out a good thing that you have to set up a notification for each cache type.
Oh, okay.
So there's definitely some limitations to the notification system.
Burnt Turtle says he's maxed out, so somebody did find the maximum. I knew there was a limit. I just didn't know what the limit was. Albedo, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I suspect that'll be one of the things on their list to update. They've been updating a lot of things on geocaching.com. So
yeah,
Kuna Bud thinks there's 500. That's pretty incredible.
I don't want that many notifications. That's way too much.
I get enough email.
Yeah. But thanks to everybody. You can contact Ryan. He is taking donations to pay off his debt. And so if you can't go and you want to just give, a few bucks to Ryan to pay for some of what's happened. Anyway, So there you go. Ryan, if you want to put up something, I can definitely.
Because we have such awesome people in the chat room. Tons of people are asking questions. If Ryan can let us know how people can contact him to arrange this, there's several people that already want to help, and it's in the chat room. And Ryan's in the chat room right now, but you don't want to do all that stuff right here. You want to. If Ryan tells us what email or what way to contact him,
PayPal, Venmo, whatever you want to do, Ryan, let's get it up there.
Yeah, let us know what it is. But people want to donate things too, and they want to know where and when to do that. So, Ryan, tell us what email or what contact information, and we'll put that up and let people know about that.
Yes. Another item, and don't worry, Scott, we're going to get to the show here in a minute. Which
we're going to mess with Scott one time. We're not going to ever have a show. We're just going to do a whole new show.
And just keep referring to it. Scott, we're going to start here in a minute.
We're going to be there.
Hang on, Scott.
I'm driving crazy. That'd be awesome.
Hang on. We're an hour in. There you go. Oh, look. Tony's just going to read his book. That's
just going to read all these.
I'm just going to read.
Hey. I need something good to read too. Look. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, FTF magazine. All right.
Okay.
I'll get to. Okay. Couple items. We're gonna get started. So, last minute items. If you're coming to the patron breakfast, please don't forget. We'd love to have you there. Patrons know about it. I just wanted to remind everyone that we're having that. And Scott would lose his mind. You're right.
Helping Ryan is totally allowed. Yep, that's what Scott said.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Patron breakfast is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, patron breakfast. We got giveaways for the patron breakfast. Jesse, I've got some cool stuff to give away during that. So patrons, don't forget. And I've already told the location, and I'm going to remind them tomorrow. I'm going to call them and go, hey, we've got about 30 plus people coming to this breakfast. You guys still okay with this? Is there okay? Also, we have I have a box over here with shirts. Cool shirts from all the podcasts. And Jesse and I are just going to go live one day. And we're going to go
live most of the days.
Well, we are. But for the pop-up, for the giveaway, we're just going to tell people that are out at Mingo, we're live now. And we'll do a little pan around so we can kind of get an idea of where we might be.
We got to add a puzzle to it. Why would we not, right?
We'll give you some clues. Yeah.
That's right.
But if you show up, you might just be able to be handed something free. And we've got some free shirts. So who knows what we do that day. So
that makes it more fun.
Keep in touch. Subscribe. Remember to like and subscribe.
Yep.
Can we do one from up on Wheat Jesus? Can we climb the tower and the first one to get up there?
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
For anybody that hasn't been to Kansas yet, they're like, what is he talking about? You'll find out soon.
Yeah, Wheat Jesus. All right, I'm done. Okay, so
one other one, remember? Hey, one other one. What went live last night? Do you remember?
What went live last night?
Yeah, what went live last night in the store?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Talking about that, yeah.
I'll turn that over to
the Simon ammo can is now live in the store. So you can go to geocachetalk.com and go to the store. And if you want to find it, it's on the third page in the store. Also, so you see the Simon ammo can kit for $65 with the ammo can. Then you have just the kit itself for $52. But also notice I see a really cool Gadget Talk coffee cup there too. So that's all up in the store. Of course, what else is in the store? There's shirts.
Yep.
The May the 4th be with you shirt. That's this week. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's in here. So be sure to check it out. So our pandemic masks, our other shirts, coins, all of that is in the store. So go check out the store. But most of all, go find and get yourself a DJW House Gadget Talk Simon ammo can kit.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
So that was awesome, Derek.
Unscripted.
Woo. Woo. You're good at this.
Direwolf wants this put together for him. There is a video, Direwolf, that shows you. I don't know where that video is, but there's a video somewhere that shows you how to put it together.
I think it was taped on Tuesday. this last week?
Maybe.
Somewhere.
And there's a preview on another channel.
Yes. Okay. We're going to give away a coin tonight. And so I'll give you the details of that. We're going to give away one of our new.
I like that one.
Pardon me, the new icon. There it is. Or the new icon. The new coin.
It may be an icon one day. You never know.
You never know.
Is this the giveaway tonight that we're doing?
We're doing a giveaway tonight.
All right.
For a coin.
Theoretically, it's a brand new system, so we're going to try something brand new. Just live, right? Why not? Why test it? Let's just do it live.
We're doing it live. So here's the thing. You want to do a hashtag in the show notes. Hashtag GTN Rocks. You don't have to do it over and over again because you won't get more than one option. You won't get more than one entry.
But feel free to do it over and over again.
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead. But you're only gonna get one entry. So
where would they do that? Where would they put that in?
Just in the chat. They just put it in the chat
room. If
for whatever platform they're on, even if they're those thousands of followers on Twitch or one, whatever, two that we have.
Yeah, all the tens of thousands on Twitch right now. Put in hashtag GTN Rocks.
And make sure it's hashtag GTN Rocks, not $ GTN Rocks or any of that. It will not work.
Yeah.
Will not work.
So this is an automated system. There's no we like that guy, so we'll be able to do it. It's an automated system. So you do it exactly right. Does it have to be capitalized?
It has to be exactly like that, doesn't it?
Oh, it has to be all caps?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, do it all caps.
So put it in all caps.
And make it all one word.
Yep, this is a new tool, so we're trying it out. You guys are a bunch of guinea pigs. I mean, we get to try out a lot of stuff. It's kind of fun.
Right. But it works because we get to give stuff away, which we like to do.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, are we going to let this run for the whole show, Gary, and then give it away at the end?
Yeah, as long as Derek pushed the button.
Don't push the button.
No, Derek has to push the button to start.
You start, but you start at the end when you bring them all in.
You have to start getting all the people in first. So you have to push the button.
Okay.
You see the button that says...
Yep, I got it. We got 36. It's 37 in right now. So we're
okay. Good. So
we're
all
right.
We're tracking
them right now. We're tracking.
If this goes great, we're gonna thank Derek. If it bombs, we're gonna blame Gary.
Blame Gary.
That's right. That's the way it works. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into this.
We've tortured Tony long enough.
Oh, we
just lost Tony.
No, we lost him.
He left. Okay, we'll vamp a little bit till he comes back.
All right. So we just did the show that we're teasing about for.
Yeah, we did for Scott.
All right, we're done for that. All right, let's do the drawing. All right.
Good night, everybody.
So
hashtag GTN Rocks. Marcellus, make sure you redo it just in case.
Yeah.
He did all lowercase. Make sure you do all uppercase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it 10 times just to be safe. I'm just saying.
It only enters it once, but that just kind of.
That's okay. I like it better. Do it 10 times to be safe.
All right, he's back.
All right, let's bring Tony back in.
I'm back.
Tony, welcome to the show.
That's what happens when you try and enter the giveaway there.
The giveaway? Yeah, sorry.
Tony left the show to enter the giveaway. I love it.
Let me just get back to the comments.
That doesn't work.
Cool. All right.
And that one doesn't either. Where did Tony go?
Where did Tony go?
Oh my gosh.
I was finishing up that book. That's pretty good.
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you. All right. Let's get started. We're going to talk about archiving or not. In case you're wondering if you want reference material for this, there was an article came out in FTF magazine that Tony did. Thank you, Tony, for doing that article.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please support that magazine. He does a great job, and he's just desperate for articles. You send him an article, he'll print it. It was decent.
It's got to be good, and yours was.
It's got to be good, yes. Yeah, but he does articles. He does milestones. There's puzzles in there. It's really worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
and the Spartan. You got to find the Spartan every time.
I can never find Spartacus ever.
I never find them. I've never found them.
I never found one.
I only find them in the next issue.
Frequently.
And that one doesn't count, by the way. I was like, oh, look, I found Spartacus. It goes, oh, that one doesn't
count. I know.
Yeah,
I was just thinking the same thing.
I'll give you guys a hint after the show.
Oh, good. Okay, Thank you. I'm terrible at it.
I actually, we'll sit down, and my youngest daughter that still lives at home, we'll sit down and we'll race. We'll go page by page, looking at the whole thing, see who gets it first.
That's good.
Of course, everything in my household is a race or a competition, so that's how we find it.
Of course. Well, before we get into the full topic, let's talk to Tony a little bit about Tony. Tony, how'd you get started in geocaching?
Well, I started way back in 2007. I volunteer as a Boy Scout volunteer, and one evening they had a presentation on geocaching, and I thought it sounded quite interesting. So I did a little digging, looked up online the webpage, and it seemed quite intriguing. It sounded like a great thing to do, get you outside looking for things. I'm kind of the old school type geocacher. I started off with one of the E-Trex.
Nice.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's an old school E-Trex right there, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. This was before the what's that called? iPhone? Is that what they call them now? Everybody's using the app on their phones. I have graduated up, so
I started with this guy.
I'm now up to this guy.
Oh gosh, Tony, do you really use that? Seriously?
I do, and I use that along with Compass.
Oh my goodness, the
reason I do that is because there are a lot of areas in Vermont where I live. There's a lot of forest cover where you might not get a signal at all with a lot of that, even with the GPS receivers. And it'll take you close, but when the needle starts turning around, a compass will point you in the right direction, especially if your battery dies. So
yes,
I use them both in tandem, and it works out quite well for me anyway. Yeah, I do have the app on my phone, and I have used it once in a while, but mainly I use the E-Trex for my geocaching. So anyway, So I did some investigating on the geocaching webpage. I thought it was really cool. I said, "Geez, this sounds like something I want to do." And I looked at some of the pages, and oh yeah, lots of caches around here. At least it seemed at the time. Really, at the time, there were less than 1,000 caches in the state of Vermont. So there weren't really a whole lot.
Right.
But what first intrigued me was the puzzles. I solve problems for a living, so that really intrigued me. And I figured out that, hey, I don't have to sign up for an account to solve some of these puzzles and get coordinates. I'm not I'm not saying you want to do that, but you want to sign up for an account. But that's what really got me started. Right. And then, once I created my account, it was toward the beginning of the year. I thought, well, geez, this will be fun. I'll see if I can do a cache every day. And I was doing really good. This was in January, doing really good in Vermont. Doing really good up until about Valentine's Day, 2007. Anybody know what happened on Valentine's Day, 2007 up in the Northeast? We got dumped on a large winter storm.
No,
we got dumped on by a nor'easter. It was the largest snowfall in a single day at that time.
Oh my goodness!
Over 25 inches that day, and that kind of put a quash on the streak. Anybody familiar with Star Trek: Deep Space Nine? Everybody seen that on the rerun, everything like that. Well, there's a race called the Ferengi. They had rules of acquisition that they like to live by. Well, there are geocaching rules of acquisition that are there, at least for me anyway. And rule of acquisition 31 is streaks are not winter friendly. So that's when my came to it. Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Exactly. So. But anyway, I continued on throughout the years and enjoy it quite a bit. Now I put out geocaches from time to time. Originally, it was just like to put out puzzle caches, and you go through different stages. You put out puzzle caches, and you put out different kinds of caches. Right now, the stage that I'm in is I try and take my time and put out a really nice multi that's got a lot of gadget type multis that are really high quality. At least what I try and do anyway. And and people around here seem to appreciate that and have a good time looking for those.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Matter of fact, I've taken some hints and tips from a gentleman in the Hollywood Square right next to me. So that's down there. Paul Lynn, right in the center there.
Mr. Gadget, Mr. Inspector Gadget over there.
No, not me. There's much better gadgeteers out there than me, but I just help share ideas.
Right. But just by looking on the internet, on YouTube, you can get all sorts of inspiration for any type of hide that you're looking to do. Not just multis, puzzles, a whole bunch of things. Matter of fact, you guys have a channel here and there, right?
We do.
There's a few.
We talk about it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So
that's a little bit of my background. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. No. And we'll get into more of that too. I did notice Bruce was asking, Jeff, Cache the Line.
Went to his geocaching name.
Wiki Bruce. Cache the Line. You TKD Taekwondo?
Yes. I've been doing Taekwondo for about 15 years. So for anybody that's familiar with it, I'm a 4th degree black belt. So
yes, the Bruce.
Easy to bushwhack. I can knock down branches and stuff pretty easy.
That's in my way.
That's awesome.
That's the only reason I pick it up. Yeah.
That's right.
No, that's pretty much my exercise for what I do. Yeah. So.
Well, starting in 07, we're similar. I mean, I started in 06, and but we do joke. Jesse and I like to have fun joking about people who use GPSs, just because we don't, but we poke fun at them, and hopefully most people who have one, not all of them, but most of them hopefully have a sense of humor. We just have fun with it. So I'm glad to use that. A compass, boy, I don't know. Can you still get it?
Anybody that goes out without a compass is not prepared, really, because you never know what's going to happen. You could drop your phone in the water.
That's true.
Or the batteries run out, as I said, and you're in the middle of the woods and you don't know which way you're going.
Yeah.
And so, matter of fact, that's why I got one, because I was with my family. We were in a small wooded area behind the soccer fields, and it was maybe a third of a mile, half a mile into there, and we had found the cache, but I didn't have a compass, just the GPS, and the needle was going all over the place.
Right.
And we went the way the contour was. It looked like you were going one way, and you really would not be. You'd be going back the other way. And so ever since then, I've always carried a compass.
That's good. Yeah, and
not only that, I was going to say, and not only that, you always want to, just hints and tips, always want to print out a map of the area that you're going to be in, so that you know what direction you'll be going, whether it's north, northeast, where the river is, where the roads are, any trails that are around. And even then, sometimes the maps might be not quite be accurate. I went on a cache one time that was, it was like 3 or 4 miles. It was one of the farthest ones in Vermont from a road. And I had a trail map, but it wasn't entirely accurate.
Ooh. So
I got to what I thought was the main Scooby-Doo trail. And why are you laughing? You don't know what a Scooby-Doo trail is?
A Scooby-Doo trail?
Rut Road.
Where you leave little snacks.
Yeah.
Rut Road.
Rut
Oh,
Road.
that's the Rut Road trail?
Rut Road.
Rut Road.
Rut Road. A road with all the ruts in it.
A rough road? Rough road?
Rut road.
A rut road. Oh, there you go. Somebody trail. A rut road. Jesse's good at Jesse's good at finding rut roads.
That's right.
A lot of them.
And so I found that road, and near there is supposed to be the a gate which marks the backwoods trail. And I walked down the road the wrong way, and I looked at my compass after about a half a mile. I said, I'm going south. I shouldn't be going south. I should be going north. And so even though it cost me a little bit of distance, I eventually was able to find the right trailhead. So
that's a good tip. Thanks for that, Tony.
Yep.
Appreciate you for doing that. Extra. That's extra. That didn't cost anybody extra on that one. That's
right.
That's a bonus. That was a bonus right there.
Bonus tips.
Thanks.
But yeah. So I read the article and I thought it was really, really good. And I contacted you and I thought, let's do a show about it. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about, of course, is from the article, but we're going to sort of go a little further with it. That's the point of a podcast.
Sure.
So let me start. I want to read a little bit of it. I'm not going to read, obviously, snippets because that's not the point. But I like the way you started it. It says, archiving a cache is one of the hardest decisions the owner of a geocache has to make. So how do you know when the right time has come? Read on. I'll give you my take on this and some suggestions for moving forward. It's that's an interesting point. I think we've all come to that crossroad, and I guess it depends on the cache too, right, Tony? In your opinion,
it can depend on a number of things. It's a little bit similar to when do you have to say a final goodbye to a pet, for example, that you've had for a while and you really don't want to. But it's the best thing to do, and there are a lot of things to consider. A lot of types of issues that can go into that decision, and it's not the first thing somebody thinks of when they put a cache out. They don't think of when do I have to archive this if things aren't going this way or that. So it is. I think the article gives you a little bit of food for thought when that time comes.
And so let's all start. Let's start the discussion with the first one, which is site deterioration. Sometimes the location where the cache is hidden has changed or deteriorated. Let's talk about that one for a minute.
Yeah, sure. So everybody, well, I shouldn't say a lot of everybody, but a lot of folks hide their cache in, let's say, a hollow log or maybe a stump. Mm-hmm. Well, after time, that starts to deteriorate. And if it deteriorates too much, well, then that's not a good location for your cache. Geocaching rules of acquisition number 10, mulch is not your friend. So,
that's good.
So yeah, and I just recently had a cache that I had to relocate a little bit because the hollow log that I had placed it in had deteriorated after 10 years.
Sure.
Which is normal. It's no longer a hollow log. It's just a pile of mush on that end. So I moved it a little ways, 5 or 6 feet away in a slightly better location. But you have to keep that in mind. I've gone out on a caching adventure to find an old one that I hadn't found before, and going up the side of the mountain on the trail, and the coordinates were right on. It was underneath some trees roots, but it had been there for so long that the wood had deteriorated, so it was actually buried under several inches of wood chips. And I didn't find it. A friend of mine who had was looking for it found it a few hours later, and I'm saying, "Where did you find it?" And he said, "It was right there. I had to dig for it." Said, "Oh, okay." You don't want to have to dig for your cache. That's not in the description. You have to dig for your cache. So that's one. So that's one example of site deterioration.
Yeah.
So it can happen with a hollow log, can happen with anything that's wood, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know what have you guys have found in your experiences with that topic.
Yeah, I think that there's and that we'll get into some of these others too, but I think that I've had similar situations where and again we're kind of covering a multiple aspect of this, which is of course site maintenance or cache maintenance. Like John said, someone cuts down the tree that you were using.
Yeah.
That's one of the comments too, which that that's important because you have to. And again, it comes back to a decision where do we archive it? Do we move it? Like in your case, you're mentioning, the maybe 10 feet is more appropriate to
the cache. Deterioration, right? I mean, if you have the whole area changes, you're going to need to get rid of it. But like Tony just mentioned, he was able to move it a little bit, and that's okay. But sometimes the whole area has changed, and
correct, yeah.
Then it's more than archive time.
Right. Yeah. All the topics that we're going to cover tonight also involve maintenance. They're just different types of issues that could happen to your cache where you might need to maintain it or archive it.
Yeah. That's kind of, I guess, is sort of is a given a little bit that we're not really going to talk about. We're not going to go through every one of these and sort of go through every possible thing. We're actually, and that's where you make the decision. Do you archive it or do you not archive it? Do you just do cache maintenance? So, but
have you had that happen to one of yours, Gary, where you've had to archive one of yours for this reason?
Yeah, or I made the decision to do that. I had one, I was in a park here in town that I have permission to put things in parks. So
right.
I do. I have written permission, by the way, from our parks department. But anyway, they don't always give me. They don't always.
I like that. Like you say it like it's something special. You're supposed to do that every time, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Permission. I have written permission. That's for another show. That's for another show. But my point was that they don't always tell me about their goings on at these parks. They just do what they want. I'm not on the top. I'm not on anywhere on their list. I don't think of bulldozing an area. But I somebody said, "Hey, I think your cache is missing." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go take a look." Yeah, the cache is missing. The tree's gone. Everything's gone.
That'll do it.
So I had to make the decision. What do I want? Do I want to move it? In this case, there wasn't really a good, valid spot for that one. So I went ahead and archived it. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. I love this one. What's that?
I've got, Ryan contacted me, and if you're wanting to donate anything or any way help out with Mingo Madness 2020 at gmail.com is the email to contact Ryan. And he's obviously the main person in charge of this event. They can definitely use the help. So it's Mingo Madness 2020. It's on the screen, but for the audio listeners, 2020, obviously the original event was going to be in 2020. So everything is still tied to that. So Mingo Madness 2020 at gmail.com.
Thanks, Jesse. Next one we're going to cover is animal. I'm also going to add in, Tony, animal or insect reclamation.
Yeah, that's appropriate. Yes.
So
everybody is hidden. Everybody's hidden a guardrail cache or maybe a light cover cache, and sometimes they get taken over by insects or stingy things or stuff that you don't want to stick your hand in.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have a scorpion problem down in Texas or not, but usually best thing to do in that situation is you go caching with a partner, and you take the you take up the position like Solid did with Indy when he opened up that rock and looked down and saw the floor moving. He said, you go first.
You go first.
So, yeah, exactly.
That's what I do when I go with Jesse. That's what I do.
Yeah, I've been on the other end of several Yellow Jacket stings. And, yeah, they hurt for a little while, but it gets better.
Yeah, down
here. But yeah, you have to be careful where you're sticking your hand in. If you're not, if you hear buzzing, obviously, or if you see something flying around that looks like it might hurt you.
Yeah, we get the red wasps down here in Texas. We get a lot of red wasps, and those are, boy, you get stung by a red wasp. Woo! It is a nasty, nasty item. So
yeah, we have the legless muggles, the ones that shake their tail at you and rattle. You really don't want to argue with them. They win. Yeah. So
we got a few of those as well, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure Florida has some critters too that you want to stay away from, especially by the water. So that's another thing to be careful of. In mountainous areas, hills that have wildlife, you never know what could be in that hole that you thought was a good place to put your cache. There have been cache up here that got reclaimed by porcupines.
That's a crazy.
From time to time, they show up. Yeah, but,
that's a sticky cache.
Well, and that's kind of the point is you never know what might happen to your cache. Something like a porcupine or maybe a mouse decides to climb into your cache, which you didn't realize that it might happen, but you never know. There might be there you go. That's an actual photo, not doctored. That is an actual photo of one of my caches taken by a cacher who sent me a photo and said, "Hey, Gary, you might want to do some cache maintenance on this one." I go, "Okay, what's going on?" They go, "Yeah, there's a mouse inside your cache." And I go, "Really?" I can't hardly believe that, but there you go.
So what did you do, by the way? How did you resolve that problem?
I and by the way, I had closed up the hole for the birdhouse, but apparently the wood that I used was kind of thin, and that mouse decided, you know what? I think I can get through that. So he did, and he got himself a nice little nest in there.
Yeah.
I went out there and carefully took it down, put it on the ground, and opened up, and he didn't want to come out at first because he'd built himself a nice little home. So I coaxed him out, and boy, he hightailed out of there. Actually, there's a YouTube video of it I took out there. But well, just like anything, like you said, Jesse, what do? Do I fix it? I decided that at that point, that cache was kind of at a point where it needed to kind of run its course already, which is going to get into some other things that Tony's going to talk about here in a little bit. It kind of met other factors. I think that's what we tend to do a lot of times, hopefully, is we go through a list of some of the things that we're going to talk about, which was, does the place need to be, should I put something else out? Should I, is there been enough change in this location that it's finally time? Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera. So I went through a checklist and I decided it had run its course, and I went ahead and archived it. And I did clean out carefully. I cleaned out fully that birdhouse and I recycled it into a new cache. So
put it out for a new mouse to invade.
I put a better back on to cover that spot up.
So I had a very kind of similar, except it was out in the woods. It was a gadget cache, and it got infested by roaches. And it was really, but no, sorry. Was it roaches? It was roaches and spiders all at the same time. But let me tell it got archived later on, but for some other reasons that we'll get here and later. But what you want to talk about some funny logs though.
Oh,
I felt like I was on an episode of Fear Factor and just different things. I opened this thing up and 1,000 roaches and spiders come flying out at me. But it was like, so I immediately after they found it, I went out and sprayed it, cleaned it out and everything like that. But like I said, cache maintenance. But I was reading this log and I just started laughing and Jess is going, "What are you laughing about?" And I go, "You got to read this when I'm done with it." I think I've actually printed the log up somewhere because it's just one of those. The person that wrote it, the cache that wrote it, was phenomenal on their log, and it's got to be probably my favorite log that I've ever read. So
it's kind of like
I still got a favorite point for it too from them, so that was good.
There you go. That was a memorable experience for him.
With nightmares, but yeah.
Kind of like the Indiana Jones. Why
is it got to be snakes?
Snakes. Tony mentioned earlier, yeah. Or rats. Remember the one with the rats in it? Mm-hmm. Oh, he goes, "Oh, rats! There's rats everywhere."
Or the bugs crawling on the floor.
Yeah, I've had bear scat show up near caches before.
Ooh, that's
wasn't a bear, but it does kind of make you think. Hey, one's probably been here.
Hey, look, there's a path tag in it.
Yeah, it's the last cacher that was here.
Last cacher. What's left of him has come out. Okay. Similar though, Tony, talk about plant reclamation a little bit too.
Plant reclamation. I've got a great story for that. So I hid a key holder. It was a puzzle cache, which would take you to a guardrail next to a fence, and it was a magnetic key holder that I put on the guardrail near the fence. This was in the wintertime. So the leaves are off the trees. There's nothing on the vines on the fence or anything like that. And I thought, well, it's a pretty neat puzzle. It's a good place for it. I guess some folks here that are already thinking ahead. People start finding it. Everything was looking good till it started to get spring, summertime. And then I got a really nasty comment, somebody that found it and said, why did you place this in a patch of poison ivy? And
no.
I didn't know that was there. I saw the vines. I didn't know that's what was going to happen in the summertime. They would bloom. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
What might be there in the summer might not be there in the winter, and it might come back to haunt you. The guy was itching for me to archive that one. So. Another
that applies to a lot of things, not just bushes, right? Yeah. Sometimes water flow is different. You can get into an area and you have a great location for a cache, and if you haven't been there during the summer or the winter, the whole environment may be completely different. And it's not that it changed; it's like that every year. But if you don't check it in different seasons, it's going to be completely different. So your bush is showing back up, any of those things like that can definitely happen.
Yeah, with thorns and all that, you might have need a machete just to get to it in the summertime.
Right.
And also on that note, how many folks have hidden a cache, maybe a bison tube or something, at the top of a sapling that they had bent over, attached it, and then let the sapling go back up? Well, what happens after about 5 or 6 years? You're going to be climbing that thing.
changes.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's going to change as well. So keep that in mind too. If that's what you're thinking of doing,
I like it.
That's going to change.
I'm going to find a sapling this weekend. I'm going to hide one in the sapling this weekend.
He's going to tree climb, but don't publish it for 6 years.
Yeah, I'm going to wait 6 years to publish it.
Wait 6 years. Nice.
The terrain rating is going to change on a scale as it gets older. So that's another neat example.
Reviewer keeps asking Jesse, are you going to publish it? Nope, not yet. Not ready. It's been 4 years now, Jesse. You can publish it now. I was like, nope, not yet.
I'm almost ready.
Yeah.
They will, in case you don't know, if you just leave one in your queue like that, they will eventually archive it.
They will just.
I've done that several times. So
FYI, they will archive it eventually.
Yeah. Also, quickly, same thing on a tree climb too. The branches that are steady right now might in 4 or 5 years start to break off. So
that's a good point. So quickly, if you're just joining the live, if you're listening to audio, don't worry, audio. We love you guys and gals as well. We'll do an audio giveaway here in a couple weeks. So we're just trying out something new that it only work on the live show. So bear with us, audio listeners. We will get back to you all soon for a giveaway. But for tonight, we're doing a live. You put in hashtag GTN Rocks. You can
all caps.
All caps. We prefer all no spaces. Hashtag GTN Rocks is on the screen. If you put in twice, you don't get 2 entries. I'm sorry, you get 1 entry, but make sure you get your.
Put it in tons of times. It's okay. Just put it in tons of times.
We'll see
if you may be the one person that gets more than 1 entry.
We have 44 entries right now.
How many we have?
44.
44.
Oh, there's tons of more people that can put theirs in now.
I know. We got 58 watching right now. So come on.
Exactly. We got more people watching. If you're on Facebook, you can, but you'll need to authenticate your name.
46.
Oh, there we go. See,
going up.
So anyway, just to mention that. So yeah, hashtag GTN Rocks. Okay, next, something similar to what I think you were talking about, which is if the plant reclaims your cache, but maybe in a different way, maybe your cache changed somehow, the container.
The container itself, a lot of folks put out homemade containers, which can be beautiful, but they can deteriorate as well.
Right.
See what that is? That's a PVC pipe, and in there is a wooden dowel.
Right.
That for the life of me, I couldn't get out, trying to do some maintenance on it because of the expansion of the wood, and it was too close a size to the dowel itself. It would not pop out, which was spring-loaded toward the bottom.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go to engineering design 2.0 to get that fixed.
Right.
Had a dowel a little bit smaller in diameter, a little bit smaller in length. Worked just fine.
Oh, good.
So that's one example. Folks that do birdhouses that don't make their the hole, cover the hole with thick enough wood, that can be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Very good.
Wood deteriorating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unpainted alcohol tins will be a razor blade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, what was it, Jesse?
Those unpainted Altoids tins that people put out, those tend to be little tetanus shots. At some point, you're getting one soon because it'll rust up and cut your fingers.
Yeah.
You can't open it. Yeah. Got to put the hashtag, Patty, by the way. Hashtag GTN Rocks.
Actually, it counted. It looks like it counted.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
You may not have to have the hashtag itself. So
maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe not. We'll have to play with it some later on, but at least for tonight, we're giving away a coin.
But I think cache deterioration is one of those big things that, without getting into a total side maintenance issue, depending on where you are, certain caches are not going to last as long as in other areas. If you're in a really wet area, wood's going to wear out quicker. If you're in a, like say Arizona or somewhere that gets extremely hot, it'll make plastic really brittle. There's a lot of things like that you need to think about. And that's why we do cache maintenance, right? But that really shouldn't be the community's job to maintain your cache because you didn't think through what kind of container to put in an area. It may have worked where you used to live, but it doesn't necessarily work where you are now. So I know that's more of a general cache maintenance, but if the owner sees that people are having to completely replace their caches time and time again, there's no reason to keep that one alive. You're not being a good cache owner at that point. It's time for that one to go.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too, we think an area is better than it might be. We caught it. We caught the area at a good time, but every time we go back, it's underwater or something like that. So, there you go.
It ruins the game, right? If you 5 out of the 6 caches you go to for a day and they're just brittle, broken, they're barely even a cache anymore. That's that's not a fun day of caching, right? Broken, what is the little 35 millimeter containers? Half the time there's like barely a plastic thing at the top. Your bison tube is those are cache containers, right? Not originally, I know, but you buy them as cache containers. And the O-ring bust or whatever.
Yep.
That's the stuff that you want, because that makes for not a fun day of caching. If you're not going to maintain that, or even as the cache owner should archive it, but sometimes you may want to give them a little hint as the cache finder too, right? Like, hey, dude, maintenance this cache.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something though that we'll get into containers again some other day. But if you're diligent with that, maintaining it though, it may just be the wrong spot. I think that's something, Tony, you talked about, was that it just may be, like you said, homemade containers are great, but the particular location just may not be suitable for what you're wanting to do.
Right. There are several go-to containers that are pretty solid that a lot of the cache owners will go for. I'm not going to go into that right now. You can invite me back for another show for that if you want.
There you go.
But I know that when you guys had that, was it the hurricane? You had the big flood down in the Houston area.
Yes.
How many caches had to be archived because of that? Because they were all underwater or destroyed one reason or another.
Destroyed, or gone.
I can tell you from personal experience, those ammo cans, which are super durable, they'll stay bone dry inside, they float. Right. And I found one that was about 50 to 100 feet away from where it was supposed to be because of the area it was in, got flooded a little bit, and it floated downstream. So even though everything was perfect on the inside, keep in mind the conditions that it might have to go through.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And they do rust too. I know you're supposed to paint them before you put them out, but we all know that we've come upon many ammo cans that still have the markings on the side, from their original purpose. But if you don't paint them, if you don't keep up with them, they can rust. They're not impenetrable, right? I mean, they can weather eventually too. They're great containers, but they also can weather. And we've all come upon a couple of those that deterioration works for them too, right? You have to wrestle with it to get it open because it's all rusted up on the hinges. And there's no container out there that will last forever without maintenance.
Right.
No. And that I've been kind of playing around with different materials with mine, just kind of to find something more durable for birdhouses, from using cedar, using deck wood, which there's some issues with deck wood as it dries out. It warps a little bit here and there, or crowns, to PVC board is a new one that I'm playing around with.
Yeah.
Just trying different materials, because not the same, like we talked about, not the same material is going to work everywhere. So there's different techniques, using fiberglass, using different ways to help these last longer. But one thing that's not going to help is cachers coming in and destroying them. And that's why most of mine have always been archived.
Yeah. We'll get into some of that here in a second. But I liked the PVC board was an interesting vlog you did recently,
and it's going to be a Mingo.
I recommend gingerbread houses. They're pretty cheap right after Christmas at Target. You just make them out of gingerbread.
Might have a little bit of a mouse problem though.
Yeah, they hold up for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Well, last forever.
To the first rain.
A whole lot of fruitcake. I think fruitcakes will last forever.
Fruitcake might last forever. Yeah.
# Christmas holidays. So no, I'm kidding. Don't hashtag that. All right. Next, we did kind of modernization a little bit, but is there something, Tony, that sticks out in your mind about the modernization? I know.
Just that you can't stand in the way of progress. What was once a nice path might the next year, or the year after, be a housing complex.
Sure.
So things can change from the wilderness to a more urban setting. Even within an urban setting, you might have, let's say, a nice hiding location on an old brick wall, and that brick wall might get refurbished, where there's no longer a decent hiding place for it. So,
right,
just keep that in mind. under the modernization section.
Cool. Yes. Excellent. Next one's interesting. Actually a little bit longer part of the article too, about indifference. And when I first saw that, I go, but you wrote a couple of things I want to quote and we'll talk about. It says, if your cache has only been found once in the past 4 years, you may want to retire it. Maybe it is because of a difficult puzzle that only a handful of people can solve. And then you go into some other items, but that's a really interesting topic, almost again for a full show. Yeah. If a cache has been found only a few times, I think that I liked the fact that you brought this up, because so many people are like, oh, I can't archive that. That's a really, we'll use puzzle for example. That's a really awesome puzzle, but is it?
Yeah, if nobody's interested in it, how awesome is the puzzle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's a puzzle or just a regular cache. There was one that came out in our area that was a couple of miles away from the nearest dirt road. No reference to waypoint, no reference to a trail, anything like that. It was just bushwhacking through a swamp and then bushwhacking up a hill and over a ridge. Well, that's okay. I mean, you might get a nice little view, but if only 1 or 2 people find it each year, is that really worth having out there? I want my caches to be found. If it's a puzzle, I want it to be solved with hints if somebody needs a hint. But I would be discouraged if I had a cache out there that almost nobody was finding anymore.
Yeah,
I think that really comes down to owner preference, of course, right? And location. Yeah. If I had one in town that was not, close to an urban area or whatever, and it wasn't getting found anymore, for me, that one's gone. And I've done that many times. Like it ran its course. There's nothing really that special about this one. It's gone. Now, where I am, and it may be like this where you are too, Tony, but there's several caches up here that only get found once or twice a year. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're in the mountains in the wilderness of Colorado, right? So half the year they're unreachable, and half the year it takes a trek. Now, usually we see this a lot, and I've had caches like this a lot. It won't get found. It'll be a whole year, and then you'll have a group get together and go out, and 5 or 6 people will find it one day. And then it won't get found again for 9 or 10 months. Now, a lot of that has to do with the remoteness of it. And you kind of have to know that, though, right? If you put one, like you said, 2 miles off the road, there's no real way to get to it. You can't expect that to have a lot of traffic. It's got to be kind of that's not going to get the traffic that you would have if, you had one in a city park. Kayaking cache is a good example, like Jonathan just said. Those aren't going to get hit very often, but they're probably going to get hit in groups when they do, because the preparation that's involved in going into it. Now, to me, that would be fun. I like those. But if it was a puzzle that only one person solved a year, to me, that wouldn't be any fun.
Exactly.
I'm not getting any feedback on it. I want good feedback. And, that's kind of different than like the epic hiking, camping trip that you have to go to get to one. But a puzzle that, and again, if a puzzle has only been solved once a year, it's not because it's that hard. I'm just going to throw this out there for people with the big egos. It's probably because people don't want to put in the effort to do it.
Sure.
Because cachers are amazing. They can solve every puzzle out there. So if nobody's solving your puzzle, it's probably because nobody wants to go to the effort. So you may have to sweeten the pot somehow, whatever it is, right? But
yeah. Well, I know Bounce just recently archived one of his caches at a location so that he could put a brand new one there at the same location, a new gadget. I mean, that's something to freshen up the game board. Everybody had found, a lot of people had found this one. Mm-hmm. And so with the new rules now, you don't lose your favorite points now when you archive a cache. So you keep those. And so now he's got a new cache out there. And actually, it was just featured in a video this last week by, I just drew a blank. It was Komakino and the Kid. Yeah, just did a video on it. And so that's one of his new ones, his superhero cache. And that was a DJW house cache. And so it's just, that's just refreshing the game board. Sometimes that needs to happen. That's kind of why I do that as well. It's like, okay, it's not being found. It's time to change it up. And it's, and for gadget cache builders, that's can be hard because that is like a baby to us. And it's like, okay, but it's not being found, or I'm tired of maintaining it, or it's been busted too many times. I'm done. It's something's with the location. Let's get it off of here. Mm-hmm. So
I think too often we fall in love with the cache that we put out that really isn't as great as we think it is. I think
it is in our minds, though. We love it when we put it out, or you shouldn't put it out in the first place, right?
Right. But I think, though, there's times when we need to be honest or get other people's opinions as to a particular hide, whether it be the container, the location, those kind of items, and really maybe it's best for all of us to step back and ask somebody, is this cache as great as I think it is? Or, I mean,
well, that's the beta test, right? You need an honest beta tester,
and maybe a past beta test. I mean, like you said, this is sort of down the road beta tester. Like, it's been out there for a while. And you're like, is it time? You know, do we put the paddles to it? Do we try to salvage this thing, or do we let it flatline, and do we refresh the game board, as they say?
Right. Well,
so there are a couple things.
Go ahead.
Sorry, there are a couple things to take into consideration. Also, you can refresh old caches. So, for example, a new challenge came out a number of years ago to find Vermont's 100 oldest non-archived caches, which revitalized all those old ones that were getting found just once in a while. And that got people out to go to places where they would never go before, just to see if they could complete that challenge. Things you have to obviously keep in mind is check the logs. If folks are saying stuff about it and it's not the best feedback, then that's possible. You need to either upgrade it, replace it with something better, or archive it. Yeah, that's where we get into what we've already talked about somewhat is cache maintenance.
Yeah, and another we're on the back side of this. Remember to hashtag, do the hashtag GTN Rocks tonight. We're going to be giving away a coin here in a little bit.
We're up to 51 entries right now.
Awesome. Let's get to 100.
And that leads to my next point. If folks aren't going to find your cache, bribe them. Stick an ideal coin in there.
Bribe them.
See how many go for it. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good strategy, though. Refresh your swag, because people, the swag disappears. No matter how cool swag you put in one, it's going to disappear eventually.
No, I like that.
Yeah. A lot of people like trackables, though. They see a nice trackable or something like that in there. Might be a proxy, but they still might want to go get it.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of them that wasn't. It's. I threw in a couple extras for the discussion, but Muggles. One thing that I think we all need to do at times when we have to, which is we get a cache muggled, so we might go, okay, so you replace it, it gets muggled again, so then you're like, okay, what do you do at that point? Sometimes it may be best to give up that area, that spot, and let it go. Maybe
it's not even the cache getting muggled too, though. There can be other issues just like that, right? Like,
there can be, sure.
You find out that there's a homeless camp near your cache all of a sudden in the park.
Yeah,
that's not a really good place to bring kids to.
No.
You find out that, like I did one time, you come up on a cache, and this is kind of a side issue, but the person was actually out of the game, so there was nobody to get to archive it. But this happened to be under a set of trees that was really great for hiding a cache. It's also great to hide and do drugs. So people would go there and leave their needles there and everything else. And it's time to archive that cache. You know, you don't want kids being brought to there, or, you know, just muggles in the area, or I'm just making up this example, of course, but let's say you put out 1,005 GeoArt caches in northern Colorado.
Right.
With permission from the town. But some of the farmers decide that they're going to pull shotguns on people.
Yes.
They're doing the GeoArt because they don't like people around their area. Time to archive those caches. Even if it's 1,005 of them, it's still time to archive. When gunplay gets involved, I know that's normal in Texas, Gary. Y'all shoot outs at the caches all the time. But in most of the world, when gunplay gets involved, it's time to archive a cache. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It matters that we want to keep people safe, right? So muggles don't have to necessarily steal the cache to make it bad. They can make the area bad. You know, I made up those examples. None of those are real, of course.
Right. Of course not. Of course not.
And I'm not still bitter about any of them either, even though it took 9 months to put them out. But that's totally a different story.
That's for another show.
That's another show. You're right.
I mean, I had to archive a cache because it was close to a kid's bus stop, and the kids kept breaking into it. I had fixed it maybe 2 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm taking it off this location. Same thing with the one that I talked about with the roaches. I built that one twice. First time I rebuilt it, had been taken a bat to it by some kids. Yeah. Second time, about 2 years later, they did it again, but also it wasn't being found anymore. So I archived that one. Last week, I just archived one. It'd been under disrepair. Somebody was supposed to be taking care of it. It was one of mine in South Carolina. Right. And I'm like, it's not getting fixed. I'm done. I can't get it fixed. So time to archive it and freshen up the game board. So, and message my friends that it was at their business and, hey, go ahead and take it down. So, but yeah, it's just kind of, it comes to a time that if they're not being found, or if there's for gadgets, if it's maintenance issues, move it up, figure something else up, refresh it, put a new one there, something.
Right.
Yeah. Very good. So kind of something else to consider. Somebody mentioned this earlier too, which is the cache though may be an item that may need to stick around. And the reasons I'm saying that is, number one, it could possibly be an 01 cache or 02, which is really old. Might not be a 2000 cache, but still 01s and 02s aren't always that prevalent, especially depends on where you are in the world. So, you know, kind of go through the checklist of, you know, is it really old? Maybe it's better to just repair, fix it, move it a little bit, whatever. There's some things you can do. Also, does it fit into something that's unusual for your location? For example, maybe it's a fizzy grid item that is, depends on where you live in the world. I mean, not everybody has the luxury that Jesse has of having millions of caches around him that has thousands. You don't have as many as some people do, but
we don't have as many caches, but we are pretty fortunate to have a full range of true fizzy.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah,
around us.
So, you know, it depends on where you live in the world. I don't know, Tony. I don't know how is Vermont nowadays? Is there pretty much every fizzy?
It's better, but you really got to travel to get your entire grid filled up. Okay. Sometimes you have to go to Massachusetts or New Hampshire to get one or two, but they're not a whole lot of the more difficult ones around. You really have to search.
So Gary, what you're saying? We should not archive Mingo today.
Let's wait.
I mean, it's buried and it's in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. We don't need that thing anymore. It's not like it's that special. Everybody's already found it, so we got to refresh the game board.
Can we leave?
That what we just said?
Can we leave? Just leave it for another week?
At least
one more than once. I'm just saying it meets all the criteria.
Can we Can we at least leave the plaque? Because there was a few pennies spent on that stupid plaque. So,
hey, that plaque's virtual anyway, so you don't
it's
have
a
to archive
virtual.
virtual.
Yeah, it's got a virtual on it attached to it. So,
which is not true. You actually do have to archive virtual sometimes, but
once in a while, or different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Terravator is saying fill your grid few hours in Texas. Not all Texas. He knows better. William knows better. There's parts of there's a couple counties, they've got 2 caches in them. And if you're a county cacher, you know, that's something to think about. I mean, trust me, when we were doing the 254, I mean, there's something to be said about profusely thanking a couple of those caches that were out in the middle of nowhere, and there's only 2 in the whole county. So you got to keep that in mind when you're going to archive. But maybe you want to make sure and not archive some of those. I mean, I think most people that work those,
it's a hard decision, right? We talked about it now for almost over an hour, and there's still so many more things you can mention. And the cache owner,
yeah,
we're driving Ryan crazy. To the cache owner, it's still one of those really hard decisions, right? Because you get attached to your caches. You want to find every way to do it, but at some point you have to weigh these things. Just like Tony's talking about, you have to weigh these things and see what's best for the geocaching community and not just your cache. So, it's hard. It's a hard one to do.
Sherry says that she adopted a 2001 cache that was about to be archived right south of where sister lives in Memphis. Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know if I've gotten that one.
Yeah. Post that GC, Sherry. We'll get that one.
I'll check. I might have found it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the caches in remote locations, remote towns that you would never go in. Especially in Vermont, there might be 2. They're there so that let's say you're trying to complete your challenge where you find a cache in every single town in your state. Worthwhile keeping those up.
Yeah. Those have some specialness to them, uniqueness.
Yes.
That's
scarcity.
Especially when you have to go down 2 or 3 dirt roads just to get to the town.
Yeah.
Or what they call a town.
Right. No, you're right. All right. So we're going to finish. We're going to actually wrap up here in a couple minutes, but let's do the giveaway, and then Tony, we're going to let you. I got
to write down this GC number real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, get that. Write that GC84. Wow, that's an old one. Look at that. You can tell by the number. So,
all right. I used my trusty.
There you go. Yeah, your GTN thing. So we'll go around the room in a minute. Tony, we'll let you kind of wrap up because
sure.
You let people know what Rise of the Phoenix versus the Walking Dead means.
Yeah, we'll go through that when you get to me.
We'll go through that second. So, Derek, if you want to bring up the screen and let people know. So here's how this worked. What was the final total, just out of curiosity?
52.
Oh, that's not bad.
Only 52 people doing it. That's
so
pretty good odds.
They're pretty good odds. You can win a coin. So what we'll do is we'll figure out the winner, and then I will contact, or the winner will need to send us an email with their information, which I'll have that information here in a minute. But first, drum roll, please, and let's punch the button and let's see who won.
Here we go.
There it goes. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning, and the winner.
Everybody's name is kind of cool for audio people.
Wait, spinning. I don't think it worked. Can we? Oh no, it's still spinning. It's still going.
Still spinning. Slowing down.
Oh,
Sherry.
Look who
Sherry
won. She doesn't need a coin. Spin that thing again. I'm kidding.
I don't think I can. Oh, draw again. It has there's so
yeah,
congratulations, Sherry.
Again. She doesn't need them. Spinning that. No, I'm kidding. So Sherry, come by. I know she's going to Mingo. So come by the booth. Remind us.
There'll be a coin waiting on you.
There'll be an extra coin there. I know she's got a couple of them. I know she's kind of there was an event in Arkansas, and she bought a couple, but I think she doesn't have all of the new ones. So there you go. You might be able to get closer to completing the collection like There you go. Like Derek's showing, you can get the whole
like this right here
collection. There you go. Yeah, see, he's got the whole.
I got
collection.
mine too. Woo.
There you yeah. So that's pretty slick. Let's see that. Yeah, there's. Oh, look, he's got a green coin. Whoa, look at you.
Oh yeah.
He got the
coveted
old retired coin.
Yeah, I had a couple people ask me about the coin. Sherry Rocks. That's good.
And before anybody asks, no, you cannot have it.
You sure?
No,
you might want
I'm positive. I worked hard for that one.
Yeah, there are relatively well. We didn't make them anymore, and actually had a few people ask me. They're like, "Hey, because the patrons this year, if you give it the 5, 8, and 10 levels, we'll get an extra coin this year." I had a couple go, "I'll take a green one." I go, "I'm so sorry."
Hey, you can't blame him for trying. That's great.
You can't blame him for trying. I was like,
they can have the camo green one.
Yeah, we got the other green one.
The camo green.
The olive colored green one. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was fun. It spun quick. Anyway.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right. So let's go.
Terrible if it didn't work. It would have been embarrassing, but that's okay.
That would have been embarrassing. I'm glad it worked, and it's all random too. So people are,
well, normally
make our life a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes it harder for us to rig it. Normally, we just give it to whoever we like. I'm just kidding. No, we don't do that.
give it to the ones that give the most money. No, we don't do that.
No, of course not.
We use random.org, but I like this because it's kind of a cool little spin the wheel type.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got a visual component to it too, which doesn't help the audio people any. So we'll have to come up with something different for them. But
we'll do
next time Gary's going to read the names as they come across the screen.
Yeah, super fast.
It's gonna be like your old when you used to read all the patrons' names.
All the patrons, yep. I need to do that again one day. Maybe I'll do that for the 5th anniversary, which, by the way, is coming up.
Oh, it is coming up.
Show 250 will be our 5th anniversary. We'll mention that next week there's no show on Sunday. There will be a show on Saturday, which is the Mingo Madness live. You are looking live, like Brent Musburger. So he says you're looking live at Mingo Madness. So that's coming up on Saturday night. We are crossing all of our fingers that it works. Yep, exactly. Special Saturday episode. If it doesn't go well, you can blame Derek, not me.
No, blame no Wi-Fi or no internet connection.
Derek's the producer of the shows, and so he will get all the blame. No, I'm kidding.
No, what I've understood is that I saw somebody in a chat goes, so isn't Colby like in the middle of nowhere? And somebody posted, no, it's just north of that.
It's north of that. Yeah, it's north of nowhere.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, nowhere's the next county below it.
Yeah. We're hoping it goes well, but no promises. Yeah. Hopefully it all works. Yeah, we're doing a Saturday Night Live. You're exactly right, Pizza Ninja. So looking forward to that.
There goes a lawsuit.
Yeah, there you go.
Just claims Saturday Night Live. I think that's a show already, maybe. So,
right.
Okay.
Oh well.
Nobody watches that. Let's go.
Saturday Night GTN Live.
There you go.
We'll blame Gary.
That's true. It'll be my fault somehow.
She will. Oh, they actually have Barbara. I think I've heard that there is a place called Nowhere in Australia. I've heard that. So cool. All right. So let's go first. Let's kind of go around the room, and then Tony, I want to come to you because I want you to kind of explain. When I first read the article, I had to see it was like Rise of the Phoenix versus The Walking Dead. We'll get to that here in a minute. So I'll start, and I'll let the other two guys kind of mention something. Again, thank you so much, Tony, for being on tonight. It can go really quick, so we may have to have you again on sometime. We'll talk about some other things because you got some great stories. I love the article was great. It really got me thinking, and that's again why I reached out, because I thought, this is something that you really sparked some interest. I think hopefully a lot of people, hopefully tonight's show. Yeah. Hugh said, good show. Thanks, Tony. So you're right. So I guess for everyone, take some time, think about your caches. I mean, give it, and I'll also ask others too. I mean, maybe you are more in love with a cache than maybe you should be, and maybe it's time. Refreshing the game board, I think more times than not is important. Obviously don't archive something that falls into one of those crazy categories we just talked about, but maybe it's time to stop doing maintenance on that cache. Maybe that spot is just the wrong spot, and give it a full thought before you did that. So there's my thoughts for tonight.
I'll kind of go off of that. So what I would say is, whether the spot's good or whatever, if you do make that decision to archive and you are refreshing the game board, you're taking that tack. I would say when you publish that cache, the type that you published or whatever the puzzle or whatever it is, that may have been the best type to publish then. But when you're republishing to refresh the game board, I would take a look at the current game board. And there may be a certain type that's a better one to refresh, a letterbox, because you have letterbox in the whole county.
Yeah, very good.
Where I go or whatever it is. If you live in a county without where it goes, just move. But see what's new. If you're going to add something new to the game board, don't just add a new version of your old one. See what's really good for the game board at that point, and get creative and be proud of what you did. You can use the same spot. You can use the same theme, but you can do something brand new for the game board. And if you decide it's time to do that, add something cool and new to the area. You hopefully have learned new stuff since the last time you put that one out, if you're archiving one. So
very good. That's excellent.
So I got one more thing to say too. I talked to Ryan. There will be some event swag at the event store. So when you get there to Mingo, so if you haven't ordered your stuff, now it's not unlimited by any means. So make sure you get your stuff, but you're not going to want to miss out on that. There's some really cool swag, and we can't even get to that or have another hour tonight, right? We've talked about that a lot over time, but there will be some event swag available. It's very limited. So make sure if you're trying to get that, get there and get it.
Yep. Real quick too, will all the GTN collection be available? Yes, all of the coins will be available for purchase at the event. Also, a lot of other things, books. Jesse's bringing, I think, a few books. I'm bringing mine. We've got the glasses. I'm bringing there's not many left of the.
There's only a few left of those, though. So you either get them there or you won't get them. Yeah.
I'm bringing a little bit of the GC World games. I've only got a few of those left. That's my copy.
We need to do another game night.
Yeah, so GC World, the card game, dirt cheap, by the way. They're only going to be $5 just to kind of try to clear out what I've got left. So anyway, there's that, and I'm going to let Derek go, but also Derek on top of your things, being a gadget guy, I'm going to let DJW House mention adoption is also an option. So,
and that's what I was kind of bouncing off kind of what Jesse said. Adoption is.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I'm gonna fall over out of my chair here in a second. Actually, I'm not even on a chair. I'll just fall down. But adoption is an option, because I mean that's what I was trying to get somebody to adopt mine out there, and there weren't any gadgets out there, so not a lot of people had the skills. So that's why I ended up just archiving. I still have one, but there's really less maintenance to that one out there. But then so adopting, cleared off the game board now and then. And what kind of bouncing off Jesse, like you're talking about the different board. Well, with the kids doing their robotics, they did a geocaching survey, and thanks to all the cachers that answer that survey and everything. But what we found was that what people are really looking for, they want to have, they're willing to hike half a mile to get the cache.
Right.
And they really like a traditional gadget style cache.
Right.
So if you're looking at, I mean, that's what I do. I love traditional gadget style caches. That's what I like putting out. That's what people are wanting to find. And I think that was like 80% is what they were of the 240 people that answered the survey. That's what they would want to find is a traditional gadget style cache.
That's cool. That's cool that you did that. That was a really interesting that you did that survey. So,
and I don't know if I told anybody this, but because of that innovation project with doing the gadget style cache with the Lego and all that, the team for West Tennessee won the championship with that and their Lego game. So Nikki and Curtis won the championship here in West Tennessee for the first Lego League, and now they've been invited to a invitational, international invitational with like 60 something teams. That's going to be all virtual in June. So it's
awesome. Nice.
I'm not quite out of Lego yet, but we'll be but reworking some of our game. But because of geocaching and doing that stat and finding that out, that helped them win the West Tennessee championship.
See, that's awesome. People do win in the first Lego League that we know. All right. So Tony, talk a little bit about some final thoughts for us.
So I'm just going to read the last paragraph of my article for final thoughts on archiving or not. It's entitled Rise of the Phoenix versus the Walking Dead. Finally, if you take the attitude of the former, that is improve the cache container, location, or puzzle, rather than the latter, trying to reanimate a dead geocorpse, your reputation with the caching community will go a long way, and so will your caches.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that.
That's great. Great thought, Tony. Thanks again. Appreciate that. I think it was a lot of fun tonight to talk through, and thanks everybody for playing along with our little game, and congratulations to Sherry for winning. And there you go.
Yeah, one last thing I just want to say, support these guys. They do such a great job. You can go out one day with your Starbucks and that'll support them for a whole month. So do what you can to become a patron. And if anybody's interested in my articles, this is probably going on the second year that I've written articles for First to Find magazine, and more to come. Yep. More to come. And if you have any suggestions or any questions for me, for the area that I'm in, you can message me on the geocaching website.
Awesome.
Very
perfect. Cool. Well, if we don't see you at Mingo on Saturday, we will see you virtually from Mingo, and we hope everybody will join us next Saturday and kind of
Gadget Talk on Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah, we got one more on Tuesday, May the 4th, Star Wars Day. I got my shirt. I'm ready to go. So yeah, Gadget Talk on Tuesday, and that's going to be also great. So all right, we will see everybody hopefully on either in person or on the show on Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We'll see you then.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. Good night, everybody.
All right.